What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive into our first news. Rafael Fiziev has finally opened up about why he had to pull out of his highly anticipated fight with Charles Oliveira at UFC Rio. Fiziev revealed that he suffered another knee injury during training. Thankfully, he does not need surgery this time, but the damage is serious enough to keep him out of action. He explained that he simply cannot push himself at 100%, cannot wrestle, cannot spar, and for now has to take a step back to heal. Fiziev admitted that this was a heartbreaking decision, as fighting in Brazil has always been his dream. He shared that he has already gone through multiple surgeries on the same knee, and rushing into another fight while injured would be an enormous risk. Fiziev pointed out that a third surgery on the same knee would not be good for his career or his health. Instead, he has chosen to take a couple of months off, focus on recovery, and return stronger. While the setback is tough, he reassured fans that he will be back in the octagon once his body is ready, determined to continue chasing his dream and delivering the performances fans expect from him. Before moving to the next news, we have one quick request for you. We are constantly working on improving our content to earn your love and support. That is why we truly appreciate it if you could take just a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update here on MMA Pulse News. Moving on to another news, Matt Brown has shared his honest opinion on the much talked about matchup between Conor and Michael Chandler. According to Brown, the fight holds absolutely no relevance in the current MMA landscape. He explained that while Conor's name will always draw attention, the matchup itself doesn't carry weight in terms of titles, rankings, or long-term significance. For him, it's just a ticket-selling fight that thrives on star power rather than meaning. Brown compared this situation to what he believes would actually matter to hardcore fans, a fight involving Jon Jones, especially if it were staged at the White House. Brown said that Jon Jones brings everything to the table, the greatest of all time, fighting for a title, most likely against Tom Aspinall. He added that if Aspinall gets past Cyril Gane, then Jones versus Aspinall would be a once-in-a-lifetime fight, the type of matchup that hardcore fans live for. Brown made it clear that if you're going the Conor route, you're chasing spectacle over substance. He even mentioned how adding Ronda Rousey into the mix would be another irrelevant spectacle, designed to capitalize only on past star power. For Brown, longtime dedicated fans who follow the sport for competition, legacy, and high-stakes battles won't be invested in Conor versus Chandler. He stressed that the UFC doesn't actually care about what hardcore fans like him think. What matters to them is whether casual audiences tune in. He gave the example of construction workers or everyday people who might go to work on Monday and talk about the fight. Those are the conversations the promotion wants to generate. For the business, it's about how many millions of viewers tune in, not whether analysts or MMA purists believe the fight is relevant. Brown did acknowledge that Conor played a massive role in getting the UFC to where it is today, and for that, respect is due. He said if he were Dana White, he'd probably make the same move, since the spectacle guarantees money, attention, and headlines. But from a pure sporting perspective, Brown doesn't care about watching Conor and Chandler face off. For him, it's simply not a great fight. He admitted it's somewhat of a pick'em matchup, which could make it slightly intriguing, and he noted that all Americans would rally behind Chandler, while Conor would still pull massive global support. From a marketing standpoint, that makes the fight successful, but for Brown and other hardcore MMA fans, it won't spark real excitement. He wrapped up by saying that hopefully the UFC builds a strong undercard around it, to give serious fans something to care about. Otherwise, the main event remains just another spectacle, not the kind of legacy-defining clash that truly matters. Moving on to another news, Daniel Cormier has given his take on why he truly believes Conor will finally step inside the octagon at the White House. For years, Conor has promised fans and the UFC that he would be there, yet he has failed to follow through time and time again. According to Cormier, this time feels different. He explained that the amount of time that has passed since Conor last fought, combined with the magnitude of the White House stage, makes it far more likely that Conor actually follows through. Cormier believes the moment itself will be too big for Conor to pass up. Cormier also pointed out another major factor. He said that the biggest reason Conor may fight again is because people simply don't believe him anymore. In Cormier's eyes, that shine, that aura of invincibility is beginning to wear off. And for someone like Conor who thrives on attention, fame, and the energy of the spotlight, that fading stardom can be a powerful motivator. Cormier explained that when a fighter reaches the level of superstardom Conor once had, and that attention begins to fade, the natural instinct is to come back and do what made you a global icon in the first place. He emphasized that it doesn't even need to be a massive win. Conor doesn't have to return and immediately beat the top guy in the division. All it really takes is one fight, one moment that puts him right back into the headlines and back into the spotlight he craves. Cormier believes that's exactly why Conor is coming back, not because he's burning with a desire to compete, but because he realizes the business of Conor is no longer automatic. The days when you could put Conor's name in a thumbnail and instantly rack up hundreds of thousands of views are gone. He said that not long ago, it didn't matter whether you used Conor's name or not. Fans would click, fans would watch. Now people feel like they've seen the story too many times and the hype just doesn't hit the same way. Cormier explained that this decline in attention is precisely what will push Conor back. The moment he announces a fight, the moment he steps into training camp and makes it clear he is serious about returning, the attention will flood back instantly. He'll be back where he belongs, in the center of MMA's biggest spotlight, and that's where he thrives. That's where he's always been at his wildest, most unpredictable, and most outrageous. According to Cormier, the White House card will give Conor the stage to reclaim that spotlight, to remind fans why he became the biggest star the sport has ever seen. Cormier summed it up by saying Conor will fight again, not for competition, but to rebuild the power of his name and brand. And when that moment comes, he believes Conor will once again dominate the headlines and the attention of the entire MMA world. Moving on to another news, Jon Jones had a lighthearted reaction to the ongoing back and forth between Dana White and Ariel Helwani. The situation started when Dana appeared on the Impulsive podcast and addressed recent comments about the UFC having a supposed superstar problem. Dana questioned, "Who is the guy that's saying they have a superstar problem?" He then mentioned that he believed it was Ariel who had made that statement. Dana continued by saying, "How's he doing?" and pointed out that Ariel was upset about the strained relationship he has with the UFC. Dana added that he himself was also upset about how things turned out between them, but the tone was laced with heavy sarcasm. Ariel later responded by saying he believed Dana was being absolutely sarcastic with those remarks. The interaction quickly made its way across social media, sparking plenty of reactions from fans and fighters alike. Among those who chimed in was none other than Jon Jones. Instead of writing a long message or giving a detailed statement, Jones simply left a comment with a laughing emoji under the clip of the exchange. That single emoji from Jones spoke volumes, as it showed that he found the entire situation amusing. While others debated the seriousness of Dana's comments or Ariel's response, Jones chose to keep things simple and light, making it clear that he wasn't taking the feud too seriously. His reaction added another layer of entertainment to the ongoing drama between Dana White and Ariel Helwani, with fans now speculating on how both sides will respond moving forward. Moving on to another news, Dillashaw recently gave his thoughts on Diego Lopez and his incredible performance against Gene Silva, where Lopez scored a dominant TKO victory. Dillashaw didn't hold back in praising Lopez, especially for his grappling and ground control throughout the fight. According to TJ, this fight may have been short, but it revealed so much about the technical side of Lopez's game that people often overlook because of the raw power he shows in his striking. He broke it down in detail, pointing out how Gene Silva made a critical mistake early on. Silva went for a spinning back kick without any real setup, and that opened the door for Lopez to secure a clean takedown. Once Lopez got the fight to the ground, that single sequence dictated the entire first round. Dillashaw admitted he was super impressed with how seamlessly Diego transitioned once he was on top. From there, Lopez showcased his skills by quickly taking the back, sinking his hooks in, and locking himself in a dominant position. What really caught TJ's attention was how intelligent Lopez was in controlling Silva's body. He described how Lopez threw his hooks in low on the hips at first, making Silva uncomfortable and forcing him to adjust. Then, as Silva tried to escape, he would give up mount. That's when Lopez would slide higher, sit heavy on the chest, and completely suffocate Silva's movement. Dillashaw emphasized how difficult it is to maintain that kind of top pressure while being so precise with body placement, yet Lopez made it look effortless. Even when Silva attempted to roll and create scrambles, Lopez remained calm. He would float back into control, roll with the movement, and once again sink those hooks in to retake the back. Dillashaw described the transitions as beautiful, explaining that Lopez was never in a rush, never sloppy, and he just continued to tighten the grip with each adjustment. For a fighter like Silva, who is explosive and always looking for ways to get back up, it was suffocating to deal with Lopez's control. What stood out even more to TJ was the reminder of just how well-rounded Lopez actually is. Most people associate him with big power in his hands, highlight reel knockouts, and aggressive striking exchanges. But Dillashaw pointed out that watching this fight reminded everyone not to sleep on his jiu-jitsu and grappling. His ability to completely neutralize an opponent, ride transitions, and dominate positioning is something that doesn't always get the spotlight because his striking tends to overshadow it. Dillashaw called Lopez's ground game sick and said it's rare to see that level of technicality paired with knockout power in the same fighter. To him, it's what makes Diego such a dangerous opponent for anyone in the division. He has that versatility where if you overcommit on the feet, he can put you away with punches, but if you make one mistake in your movement, he can drag you to the mat and completely smother you. For Dillashaw, the performance wasn't just about the TKO win. It was about the statement Lopez made with how composed and calculated he was, turning what looked like a risky moment into a masterclass in ground domination. Moving on to another news, Paddy Pimblett has gone off on Ilia, making it clear that he wants that fight next and is ready to settle things once and for all. Paddy didn't hold back, saying that Ilia's path to the title was far easier compared to the challenges he himself has faced. He called out Ilia directly, saying he would fight him whenever and wherever. Paddy even went as far as suggesting he'd love to travel to Spain and fight inside the Bernabeu stadium, right in front of what he called Ilia's fake countrymen, insisting that Ilia is not truly Spanish but German. For Paddy, the chance to punch Ilia's face in front of 90,000 people on enemy territory would be the ultimate satisfaction. Paddy continued by criticizing the road Ilia took to become champion, calling it one of the easiest title runs he had ever seen. He pointed out that Ilia's route to the belt included beating Ryan Hall, Bryce Mitchell, and Josh Emmett, and argued that none of those wins truly proved him as the best. According to Paddy, getting a title shot off that level of competition is nothing compared to the battles other fighters had to go through. He claimed that Michael Chandler would easily beat all of the fighters Ilia faced before stepping into the octagon with Alexander Volkanovski. Paddy went on to say that Ilia's victory over Volk only happened because Volk wasn't at his best, reminding everyone that Volk had been knocked out just weeks earlier. In his view, everything in Ilia's career has lined up at just the right time. He benefited from favorable matchups, well-timed opportunities, and the right circumstances to propel him forward. Paddy admitted that if he himself hadn't been forced into long breaks and short intervals due to injuries and setbacks, and if he had been given the same easy road Ilia enjoyed, he would already be champion by now. He made it clear that Ilia hasn't truly been tested in the same way, and that reality will catch up with him when they finally meet inside the octagon. Paddy finished his rant by making it clear he has no problem stepping into Ilia's territory, no problem facing him in front of his home crowd, and absolutely no hesitation about exposing him in front of the world. In his mind, Ilia has had everything handed to him, but the moment he stands across the cage from Paddy Pimblett, that streak of good fortune will end. Paddy is convinced that when the fight eventually happens, it will prove once and for all who the real fighter is, and he has no doubt that he will leave victorious. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.